Hey there guys, still in New Zealand and loving it. We moved to another place, another Airbnb, and it's beautiful. Got a nice garden in the front. But yeah, so we're here for probably a few more days or for the rest of the week. We'll see. Still waiting on for some parts to come in, so just gonna wait on those. I should get some phone calls tomorrow to get those in, and then I'll go pick them up hopefully tomorrow, and then book our flights for the end of the week. But yeah, so in my last video, I didn't talk too much in my last video, but animals are good in Tonga. Everything's been looked after really well. Thankful Finau to look after that and his family. He even hoed the sweet potato and the vanilla and all that, so that's good. But yeah, so just enjoying it over here though. Beautiful weather today, beautiful weather. It's nice and sunny. It's not too cold, not too hot, so yeah, nice weather. Yesterday we just had some takeouts yesterday, so we had eggs and toast in the morning, and then we had some fish and chips for lunch, and then Macca's for dinner. So yeah, that's food wise. Today, this morning, I just had a yogurt and one of those protein yogurts, some crumpets with honey and butter, and then a coffee as well. So yeah, and one of those little bottles of probiotics, little things. Yeah. Just to get my gut health really good before I go back overseas, and help with digestion and whatnot. But yeah. But what I want to talk to you guys about today is when I've looked upon the Tongan guys, right? And you've noticed there's certain Tongan boys that are ruthless, and but it's different nowadays. Compared to back in the old days, like when my dad's era in the 1970s and a little bit further back, 70s, 80s, when they came from over Tonga, they were ruthless because that's how they survived over there. And they could be the kindest people ever, and there can be some decent units, like some big units, like they're naturally big units, like and they just grow up to be some monsters, really. When like my dad was short, but he was thick and muscly, and I just see all the brothers of my dad, of my uncles, they're pretty much built the same way, and they were pretty ruthless back in the days, and they're strong naturally, but you just get those individuals that are very strong, and that are placid, very placid, kind as anything. They'll give you the shirt off their back. And but there's one instant when they where they drink some alcohol, and it gets to a certain limit, and then they just switch. Right? I'm sure a lot of you that do drink have seen this in the islander in most of the islanders. But there's certain islanders switch. They're not strong. They're just stupid, and they'll get a hiding. But there's some that just switch, and they're just tough as nails, and they'll take anyone down. Very strong, ruthless. Don't care about anything. And back in the days, they were like that as well. I know my dad was like that. My uncles were like that. But it gets to a certain level, and then they'll switch. Me, it took very long time to be able to drink and then switch, but I don't drink anymore, right? So it's sometimes you get that extra strength, and I know the Tongans do this because I've experienced most of it when you're in a certain state of drinking, and there's a certain type of energy that you get more. I don't know what it is when there's anger and you switch, and you can pick up anything, smash anything, do anything. It's like it's it's a certain power. I don't know what it is evil or what, I don't know, but yeah, maybe it is evil. um, and sort of like, I guess someone else takes over, someone else takes over, takes control. So but back in the days, sometimes they're not even drunk, and they were ruthless because that's how they brought up, ruthless back in the days. They had to survive. As many kids, like back in the days, it's like when you're born, you're literally, they don't have milk powder or anything like that. They basically off the breast. If they got the mother hasn't got much breast milk, and then they won't survive as well, or they won't survive. And some of them died. A lot of them died. Like a lot of kids died. Like, a lot of babies died back in the days because the nutrition just wasn't there. But saying that, as you can see, the rugby players in that, their genetics are totally, their genetics are totally different, and this is the reason why. So sailing way back in the days, they had to sail from one island to another, and those that weren't inhabited back in the days, and then they've inhabited later, like the fittest of the, like whoever survived that journey from one island to another, their genetics were crazy, right? Because they just sailed on this canoe with a sail. It might have been quite big, to be able to make that journey, surviving on coconuts and maybe spit pig or whatever it is, and fruits and that, to be able to make that journey from one island to another. It's a nasty journey, and only the survival of the fittest will make that journey. And to be able to survival of the fittest, to be able to reproduce on the islands, and then it's still survival of the fittest, to be able to survive with what they can gather around when they're doing fishing and spearing or hunting wild hogs or whatever it is. So what I understand is survival of the fittest, and then you get their genetics are crazy, and they're sort of like marrying sort of distant relatives, right? And so and you'll see the survival of the fittest, the biggest, the strongest, the healthiest survive, and they remarry, and then you get better genetics all the way down until European civilization comes in, and that genetics still comes through though. But what I'm saying is, you can see it on the rugby field, you can see it around the world. If these islanders, what I've seen specifically, Tongans, Samoans, Fijians, mate, if they really put their effort into boxing, running, weightlifting, strongman, anything like that, they'll blow it out of the park. Like, they are unbelievably strong, the fitness and everything. Like, they don't have to do much to be able to gain muscle. They don't have to do much to stay fit. If they stay off the European foods, they stay cut. They depending on how their diet is, but most of them stay pretty cut if they stay off the European, their breads and all that kind of stuff. So what I'm saying is, the Tongan, the Islander Pacific genes are pretty good. They're quite decent, and I've got some of those genetics, and I thank the Lord for that. But I've also got European genetics as well. My mum's Australian. Her grandparents were, or great grandparents were, from island of in England somewhere. I can't remember, but anyway, Isle of Wight, Isle of Wight, and so they were from there. But yeah, so my genetics have come through down that way, the European and the Tongan. And like my brother's quite strong, I'm quite strong. I see my brother-in-law, he's quite strong as well. And it's just genetically gifted where they're quite strong. And if the Tongans or the Islanders just seek it 100%, I'll just blow it through the park, mate. It's no problem whatsoever. But it's because of the discipline. They don't have that discipline to be able to keep it going. They're immature when they're young. They don't mature till they're a lot older. They're just kids, right? All the way through their 20s, they're just still kids. Until they get to their 30s and they start to change a little bit, 40s, and then they start getting mature. Because they got to think differently. All their body mass and everything's changing, and the testosterone's lowering, and all that kind of stuff. And you think differently, you act differently. You change your perspective. You're not this powerhouse anymore. But yeah, so what I'm saying, yeah, don't mess with islanders. Nah, just kidding. No, but the thing is, they can be the best people out there. Like they'll feed you, they'll home you, they're very good people. But nowadays there's a lot of mixed blood coming in, and there could be great genetics in that as well. When a lot of mixed blood coming into the islanders, they're a lot fairer now with the mixed blood. So yeah, but in Tonga there's still 100% Tongans a lot. Like in Samoa's rare, where you can get 100% Tongan bloodline. 100% Samoan bloodline. In Fiji, there's still full Fijians over there as well, so that's good. But you got the Fiji Indians coming in over there as well. So intermarriage there. Now in Tonga, there's a lot of Chinese coming through. So there's intermarriage in Tonga there with the Chinese, but very rare. But it's a start, very beginnings, right? So there's not really another group or a nation or other bloodlines that have come into Tonga, unless it was way back in Captain Cook's time, where they might have had some kind of mixed blood there. And my Tongan side, of my side, there's a little bit of that as well. From way back in the days, but most of them, yeah, purebred, pure blood. But then there's and they've been mixed with Samoan as well, because they used to go to Samoa and come back, bring wives and all that kind of stuff. So there's mixed Samoan Tongan there as well, and I know there's a lot of Tongans in Samoa as well. They're mixed blood there as well. But now, because we venture out overseas, there's a lot of mixed blood now happening, and the education is a lot different. They don't have that aspect where they switch and they go dark very easily. They don't have that anymore. It's a lot different. It's calculated nowadays. Back in the day, it's not calculators. They want to hit someone because they want to hit someone, or kill someone. They want to kill someone. They do it because it's that switch, and they don't have there's no remorse. I mean, there is remorse afterwards, but right at that moment, they don't think of the consequences. Nowadays, there's education, and the consequences are there. They understand the consequences these days, and that's why it stops them. But saying that, I see New Zealander, and you see through the courts, and heaps of islanders going through the courts, man. I can't believe it. It's like, and there's big boys going through there. I sat in the courts the other week, and I just watching all the fellas coming through there, young fellas, 20s, mostly 20s, 20s to 30 in between there, and there's a lot of big boys coming through there, and you see some of the cases are deliberate, and some of them are just that switch. You know, they've done that, they've flipped the switch, and a lot of them are sort of like come from overseas, from the islands, have tried to make something here, but that switch is switched off, right? And then also the youngsters these days, they're growing up with that, and they don't understand it. They're in their 20s. A lot of the islanders, they don't understand how powerful they are, how their mind works, how to control it. The problem is how to control it, and they don't know how to control it, and they gotta be able to control their emotions. And a lot of them are emotional, and they whatever they act on is emotion. So they don't know how to control their emotions. So that's one of the key things with the islanders. Very emotional people, and they will act upon it. And that's why they still look after their families, their grandmothers or their mum and dads, because they're very emotional and they're very loving and caring. And when that switch flips, like someone they see, I don't know, their sister, and this is very something happens with their sister or something like that, man, they're gonna annihilate that person. If it's a male or whatever, if it's a girl, they sort of don't really go there. But if it's a male, mates, they're just gonna kill them. It's like that. So when it comes to family and protecting their family, they have definitely got that down. That's and then one of their main factors, and that's they'll go to prison for that. No doubts whatsoever. If they have to protect their family, and a lot of them do. They because of the violence here in New Zealand, and there's a lot of what do you call it? Disturb young adults, and trying to get a lot of things are expensive here, so they've got to make a living, and some of it's not legal, right? So they're trying to hustle on the side to be able to make a living, and then that way they get into branch out to other things that are not great, and they get emotionally disturbed, and what happens? They get violent, and then when they get violent, because they can't control their emotions. And that's another other side of the young adults of the islanders. Trying to control their emotions is one of their hardest things that they can do, and the reason why they get violent is because they're emotional, and that's how they react. Emotionally react physically, and they won't hurt a lady, a girl, any female of that aspect. But if it's a male and they're down, yeah, they'll annihilate them, and it's just the way they are. And specifically Tongans, they for some reason they have got this switch that they just don't care. When they go, they're on. Like you see back in the days where Haku in the wrestling, he was the most feared wrestler in the WrestleMania back in the days, right? And it didn't show in the ring, but you see the testimonies of all the guys. I've listened to them all, and he's unbelievably vicious. And I'm thinking to myself, he's just like a normal islander over here. But there's certain builds where they are like built to wreck, right? To annihilate. They're just built like that, like the kindest person ever. But when they touch you and they're angry, you're down. You're gone. And if they've got some skill behind them, it's way worse. Like for instance, my dad, he wanted to get in martial arts. He was in his 20s. He stowed away over in a boat in a container from Tonga to Sydney, made his way to Adelaide. What happened was Bruce Lee came out, right? So he wanted to be like a Bruce Lee guy, and what he had to do, he had to go. What he did to be able to find the right place for him is go challenge these masters. And he went and challenged them all, and he gave them all a hiding, and then he got to one master, and he got a hiding from. Okay, that's the person I'm gonna. But he had no fighting experience, only street fighting experience, right? He's a short dude. He's only 5 foot something. Like he's shorter than me. I'm 5'7". No, five. Sorry, I'm 1 meter and 75 centimeters. He's way shorter than me, and but he's stocky and built, and he can take down like guys at 6 foot. Like he's just a wrecking ball as well. But yeah, my dad was like that as well. He was just very strong, committed, and powerful. When he puts his mind to it, he can just take you out, and without training. So now he trained martial arts and taekwondo, and then he just becomes this one like feared person that you just don't go there. He was called in Adelaide the Black Animal, right? It was just all the pubs. He ended up being a master of 2 taekwondo clubs, and he was a bouncer. Like he had 2 jobs. He had a job running the taekwondo clubs on the weekends, and also being bouncer on the weekends as well. So, and everyone used to pick on him because he was so short. And he used to give them all a hiding, every single one of them. Like he'd come home, like these are the testimonies of my mum, come home and blood all over him, and it's not his blood, it's someone else's. Like There's instance where my mum says they were in a club, they walked out and walking down an alleyway, and back in those days they had these old phone booths. Walked down the alleyway and they saw going through, there was 4 guys waiting for them. So my dad shoves her in the phone box and says, don't move from there, don't get out until I get back. And he just walks straight to the 4 guys. Walks straight to the 4 guys, does his thing, spinning kick and all that, bang, 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 down. All of them annihilated, down they go, comes back, takes mum out, and goes home, you know. And that's just one experience where mum was there. All the other nights when he's a bouncer, she's not there, and he comes back covered with blood. It's totally different. Like, it's, you know, it's mind-blowing, you know. So when they are very experienced, they're dangerous. But trying to keep the emotions in check is hard. It's hard for them because they're very family orientated people, and they're very loving. So when they're very loving, anything happens to their loved ones, yeah, they'll act out. Definitely act out. But nowadays, a little bit better. But I see, going back to the courts, I see the young fellas going through there. Man, it's troubling because they're all islanders going through, the big boys going through there, and it's because they've made one bad choice sometimes. Made that one bad choice, and it just snowballs from there. And because they know that they have that strength, they have that power. You know, this 6-foot Tongan guy with a big afro and all that kind of stuff in behind the thing going to court, and you're like, dude, okay. You can tell he's probably done something wrong, but because he's so big and strong, he needs to check his emotions to be able to not do anything wrong. And that's usually something like manslaughter, or something like if they've given someone a hiding, knocked them out, and it's like, I don't know, they've gone to hospital, someone else has gone to hospital or whatever, and they're very hurt. So, or they've nearly killed someone, but not meaning to. Sometimes meaning to at that moment, but consequences later, they're remorse and they didn't want to. But some are very like, they don't care. Like, there's some they just don't care. But yeah, that's I don't know, with the European culture over in Europe and that, it might be a little bit different. But I mean, with the Tongans, they won't swear in front of their grandmother or mother or anything like that. They're very respectful that way with their family. But when it comes to protecting their family, it's a different story. Different story altogether. You'll see that wrecking ball come out and just walk through 10 guys. Like, it's like that. They don't care. And especially if they're 6 foot and they've got some build on them, and they just, yeah, it's amazing what you see, yeah. But I don't know, it's what I see over here in New Zealand. Yeah, all the youngsters, man, they just got to get somewhere, I mean, they got to start with their education and focus and drive, have that drive to be able to. And if they've got that spirit where, yeah, they are a wrecking ball and they can't control their emotions, get into boxing, get into something like that where they are trained to be able to control their emotions as well, and to be able to have it out on a punching bag or the gym or whatever. A lot of the guys, they go to the gym nowadays, you know, just to sweat it out and get their anger out in the gym. But I think that's a good thing, where they go to the gym, have it out on the gym, and put their energy into that, because a lot of these guys, they just need to put their energy into something. And because their testosterone is so high with these guys, they just want to get out there and do something physically. And that's why a lot of them in construction, so lose their energy. I mean, some of them just go construction all day, beers later, or construction, gym, and then beers. It's like, they're just, yeah, animals sometimes. But if they focus on their life, what their goals are, need to keep fit, go to the gym to get rid of that energy, because a lot of them are office workers nowadays, and those office workers need to go to the gym. But there's some islanders that they're really okay with just being in the office, and they're not built to be wrecking balls, you know what I mean? But those guys that have got a brain and do well in business or whatever, and also are a wrecking ball, they need to go to the gym, because the emotions will decide for themselves in business. So they need to sort of like sweat it out in the gym, get all the anger out, whatever it is out there, on a boxing bag or whatever it is, lifting 200 kilos or benching, whatever it is, and come back home and just be relaxed, you know. That's a lot of them need that, totally need that, to just get their head straight. So they're sort of like not exhausted, but they feel like they've done something, they've gone to war and come home, you know, and they're happy. Most of them, because that's what they were back in the days, warriors. All of them, warriors. That's what they were made for. They were built for warriors. They built to, or bred to challenge other islands, and they were always at war with villages and islands and all that kind of stuff. So, and who dies? The weak. The weak die, and only the strong prevail. So they're only the strong breed, and then that's why you get who you get right now today. But yeah, nowadays they got medicine these days, and so whoever is weak, they will still survive and breed, and that's just the reality of it. And then you get weaker genes, but you know, because we're, as human beings, we love our families, and no matter what kind of sickness they have, we love them, and so we'll try and get them medication to get better. It's just the way it is. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, I'm saying it's a good thing. But in reality, back then, it was good to be able to get good genetics, because all the weak would die and all the strong will prevail and be able to continue their bloodlines. But anyway, I think that's what do you call it? It's enough for me. I think if you guys got any questions or anything like that, yeah, just yeah, hit me up in the comments. If you enjoy this this talk, just let me know, and subscribe and click that thumbs up. Yeah, that's what it is, thumbs up. And yeah, so, and if you guys got anything to add to it, like with Haku and the wrestling, or if you guys know any famous guys that are just wrecking balls out there, that are just bulldozers, they don't care, and just, and you'll probably see in the, oh, this is, before I end it, this is what you see in the prison system over here, is like islanders rule over here. It's just, when you go into the prison system, islanders, they're the biggest and the baddest people there, and they rule those prisons, and it's sad in a way, but it's, you know, unbelievable in a way. It's just what it is. But yeah, anyway, I'll leave you guys with that. That was just something on my mind that's sort of like ticking over, and something I need to share, because it's what I think, how and why the Islanders are who they are today, and with rugby, sports, and prisons, and how bad they are or good they are, whatever it is. But yeah, I got that off my chest, and let you guys know about it. I don't think you guys, a lot of the world doesn't know how the Islanders think as well. So yeah, if you guys like this, let me know. If you want any more content like this, just hit me up. Yes, we are off grid, but this is part of our culture, right? The Islander culture. Alright guys, God bless and love you.